office within the White House. They do have that facility there, Amna, that allows for blood tests, he said, some kinds of dental checkups, and they can also do ultrasounds there as well.
So what did Dr. Kuhlman say he would be looking for if he were President Trump's doctor?
Dr. Kuhlman said that he has three main things that he's looking for. Here's what he told me earlier today.
Specifically for an 80-year-old president, advanced age is by far the #1 concern. I'd worry about cardiovascular fitness, cancer, and making sure they don't have neurodegenerative disease.
Dr. Kuhlman also said that for a patient the president's age, that he'd want to do a treadmill test to test that cardiovascular health, also a CAT scan of his heart to look at coronary arteries. He said when it comes to cancer that the president has a lower risk of that. He's a non-smoker and has always been a non-drinker as well. He said for cognitive health that he would recommend doing more advanced cognitive tests than something fast. And I also asked him about some of the images that people have seen of the president. The president has been photographed with swollen ankles recently, also bruises on his hands. The president has said that the bruises on his hands are from aspirin use and handshaking. He has covered those up with makeup. Dr. Kuhlman said that those can be benign explanations as for why the president may have those swollen ankles and those bruising on his hands, but he's concerned about the transparency around that and maybe that the public is not getting all the information that they need.
We'll see if the White House releases more information. In the meantime, some of the president's activity has caught the public's attention as well, specifically things like his late-night social media activity, a lot of flurry of tweets and so on, the habit of closing his eyes during some daytime meetings. What did the doctor say about the president's sleep habits?
The president has been posting really late at night, sometimes after 1 in the morning. We've seen some recent examples of that. Dr. Kuhlman's take on that was that he thinks that, people that survive on sleep deprivation, it's actually not good for your mental or physical health. So he did have some concerns about some of the late night posting that we've seen from the president. He also noted that President Biden was evaluated for this and used CPAP for sleeping. And President Trump has attacked President Biden consistently for his lack of energy and stumbling during public events. But critics of President Trump have noted recently some of those moments where his eyes are closed in meetings.
The White House correspondent, Liz Landers. Liz, thank you.
Of course.
At least 220 people are believed to have died from the Ebola outbreak in Central Africa, with suspected cases now nearing 1,000. The Director General of the World Health Organization warned the outbreak is spreading so quickly that response efforts are struggling to keep pace. The epicenter remains in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where deep mistrust of health authorities is complicating containment efforts. Funerals organized by the Red Cross teams are now taking place under military and police escort after several healthcare facilities were attacked in recent days. Here's how one Red Cross volunteer described the resistance she's encountered.
We've come to tell the people of Bibo Kolomani that the disease is here. Unfortunately, we're facing resistance, and some people want to stone us, but we're not going to give up. We're continuing to tell them that the disease is here. Some accept it and others don't. We fear that because the resistance is strong, people will continue to die, but we're not giving up.
For more on the outbreak and efforts to contain it, we're joined now by Dr. Celine Gounder, editor-at-large for Public Health at KFF Health News. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
You were on the ground back in 2014 during the Ebola outbreak in West Africa. As you watch this outbreak unfold, what stands out to you most about the response?
You have many of the same conditions that we saw during the 2014 to 2016 West African epidemic. So again, we have no vaccine, no specific treatment, which at the time was the case with that species of Ebola. We're seeing delayed detection in part because of difficulties with contact tracing, a healthcare system.
They changed how YouTube looks today, and now everything's all weird. It has like 94K hits in 8 hours and stuff. I don't know what that little plus thing is. The play symbol.
The Vagabond is an extremely cost-effective ship you can take into Electrical Abyss. Yes, we've got a cost-effective T3 runner for you that's going to make you some great ESC per hour. So if you want the best EVE guides, you came to the right place. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauro here, digital advertiser, content creator, and EVE enjoyer for the better part of 10 years now. And here we go. Vagabond, the Vagabond. So this is going to be one of the first ships we take with projectile weapons into the Abyss. We're going to have a full playlist for you. We're coming to the end of our Missile Abyss series, and with that, we need to talk about other ships. So this is an Omega ship. It's a Tech 2 heavy assault cruiser, and it is one of the most popular ships for the Abyss for a reason. It really has everything you need, from a plus DPS bonus, also a plus hit bonus, and a rate of fire bonus, and a tank bonus. So it really has literally everything you need. So the fall off is going to make you easier to hit things. The damage bonus, self-explanatory. Rate of fire is going to push all the things. It's really a perfect amount of bonuses for you to be able to fly into the Abyss and be self-sufficient, especially with this. Now, we are not going to be using the heavy assault cruiser bonus that has for the assault damage controls. You can run it if you want to. We're going to talk about the fit in just a sec. You don't really need it in this fit. I've run some fits where you do need it, but not so in this. So enjoy the fact that you could fit that if you would like, but we do not need it. So before we go any further, we are going to be taking this into Electrical Abyss. The Electrical Abyss specifically has a cloud that is going to help you with your capacitor recharge. Is going to give you a penalty to EM resist. You're going to see this reflected in much of the fit here, even though, for example, it says we have 5 minutes on the capacitor. That is a lie. We are cap stable inside of Electrical Abyss. So do not think that this number is like,
Lauro, you said cap stable.
Yes, it is. I promise you, when you go into there, it will be cap stable. Don't you worry your pretty little hands about it. Okay, let's talk about the fits. The main thing that you really want to understand with this is that we're going to be taking a Vagabond into a Electrical Abyss, and the main ammo you could use is hail. We have some hail and barrage ammo in here. Normally, we say load hail, never fail. But because we're going into a place that has a easier time with EM focus damage, the main ammo we're going to be bringing is the Republic Fleet EMP ammo. Let me show you why. So hail is going to do primarily explosive damage with a little bit of kinetic. Republic Fleet EMP is going to do primarily EM with a then sub focus on the other two. So this is going to do more damage than the other ammo types, and is going to be able to shoot out to 26 km, which is very nice with the fall off range. Hail is only going to go out to looks like, oh, come on, go in there. There you go. Going to go out to 20, and it's going to do less DPS overall. Now, why we know this is because of the reduction to EM resist in the Abyss. You do 737 base DPS with hail. You can see Republic Fleet we do, if I actually can load this in, it is going to be, quote, less DPS, but not so inside of the Abyss. This is one of the reasons that we try to do these kinds of things for y'all, is you don't just want to look at the numbers on your screen. You want to mold what you're doing to the activity that you're doing. With all this said, we are going to include both barrage and hail in this in case you're in the Abyss and something is like highly resistant to EM. You can swap into something that's more weak to explosive. Barrage is going to be your long range ammo, hits out to 39. You're not going to need this, because if something we like to do in all of our ships, another reason I think the Vagabond is potentially a perfect Abyss ship, it has a single missile launcher hardpoint. One,
Lauro, missiles on a ship like
this, specifically a heavy missile launcher, is going to be able to shoot out with faction ammo to 63 out. This is going to be the thing that's going to pop your loot caches in addition to your drones. We're going to talk about the drones in just a sec. Because you can target within 70, you can shoot within 63. This is awesome because you're going to be able to pop those loot caches and really focus the majority of your main DPS on the actual mobs itself. You can look at the DPS meter here. You can see the main damage is the turrets, obviously. Then missiles, then our drones is actually second with 80 DPS. And don't sleep on your drones, because we are making the missiles EM damage. We're also going to have EM focused drones. These Imperial Light Acolytes do primarily only EM damage, and they are going to be able to punch through a lot of the smaller mobs with their superior tracking. You're bringing these in because they have better tracking and because you might as well, you have the drone bay. That's it. You could only fit lights because of your low bandwidth and low drone bay space. Call it a day. Let's talk about your defense, as we've been talking about your offense quite a bit. So the Vagabond is a speedy ship. You want to make sure you use your speed tanking well. We are going to be using a slightly better than normal afterburner. Domination 10 MN is going to take us about 1,000, and if you overheat this, you're going to go 1,300. You don't have a lot of EHP. You're going to really utilize the actual speed tanking you have with
They
the
just gave me 250,000 credits. Yeah, they gave me 250,000 credits. That was a Hitler joke they made. They're like, even I know fighting two fronts is a bad thing. But Hitler didn't. Because he was a scrub.
Spectrum and the extra large.
God damn, this guy blew up to 50k subs somehow. He was like 10k 6 months ago. What the fuck? I don't even think that many people are playing Eve. How do you have 50k subs? There's like 30k people playing Eve. Well, I guess it's more than that. It's like 100,000 or something, huh? The loneliest millionaire on the internet. Oh my god.
Compact shield booster. You don't need a buffer because you have this incredible amount of heals. I gotta tell you, this ship costing only 400 million ISK with all the implants we have in there. We have some basic implants for you, very, very low cost, some -1s just in case. I gotta tell you, this
I had a video. No, I do have I have video slowdown. It's weird. When I alt tab to it, it runs well for a second and then it slows down for whatever reason. I guess we're done here, huh? Finished with the pirate faction finally. Ooh, I'm at 1.160. I'm gonna make so much money off faction warfare. Enough to pay subs and stuff. How much does she have? Oh no, she has 275,706. Oh right, I'm working on Caldari, which. Oh no, State Protector at 1.1. Yeah, I've been fed Navy 393 yet. So I have like, nice. I have like 1.4 billion on the main and about 200 on the other. So it's like 1.6 bill in just faction warfare stuff. That really, really pays. Like I love faction warfare. It's like the new form of campaign battle for me. I was thinking like in Final Fantasy 11. Oh no, campaign battle is Oh god, what is that? That's Wings of the Goddess, actually, I believe, which is like 3 expansions in. And so, yeah, I was thinking about that free trial that they offered on Final Fantasy XI. If they gave me campaign in that mode, but they don't. They give you, like, there's no mode in Xylart that is that good. Xylart's not that good. Like, it is. It would be fun to return to the game and just level and get all the professions up and all that, but it's with the inventory cap, it's not really a game I would play for free. I like that the game's not gonna die. Hi, kitty. Wait, before you get on me, I want to grab something here. Hold on. Rest of my dinner salad.
Is incredible and was a community effort to fit, because we were able to on stream live get this down for 400 million ISK with a super battleship tier heal on a cruiser, and it's cap stable inside of the abyss. I gotta tell you, you die with this ship, they're basically doing something wrong. You're flying it wrong, because my goodness, you can turn everything on and you're got a massive shield boost coming in. So we're talking about you only have 2400 HP, and every 5 seconds you're going to recover back a quarter of it. I mean, come on, that's just amazing. 163 HP a second, and then if you overheat this, you go up to 901. Just amazing stuff. So that's your defensive modules. The last one that gives you some EHP is going to be your power diagnostic system. We need this in order to be able to fit everything. And then finally, the rigs, we've got a, let me find it, an ancillary current router is going to let you fit all the things as well. You do it with the Tech 2 one because everything's kind of tight. A word of caution if you can't fit some of the stuff here, you know.
Loru, you know, this is such a tight fit on CPU power grid. I don't have the rigging skills for this. I don't have the main skills for this. What do I do?
Well, you can try to tech down this extra large into just a large. You could do large, compact. You will definitely be able to fit stuff then. You can also try going for a bigger power diagnostic system. You can't tech this one up anymore, the ancillary, you can't. It's the maximum tech, so you could try making this a little bit higher. Check your skills, and I want to put this in the middle of this video here, because a lot of our recent videos, especially for Omega fits, a lot of comments about
Loru, I can't fit it. My CPU's over a little bit.
Yeah, check out your rigging skills, especially your projectile rigging skills. When we talk about our Omega focus guides, we really want to make sure that y'all are showcased maximum skill point level ships, and if you don't have level 5 in some kind of skill, getting it to level 4 should be good enough, should be a-okay for you to get stuff going. So don't think you have to have maximum skills to do this, but we want to showcase you maximum skills so that you have something to work towards. Okay, so check your projectile rigging skill. Another big one that really gets people's like power grid CPU is advanced weapon upgrades. This is going to reduce, especially in gunships like this, power grid needs by 2% every single time. That's every single ship. Get advanced weapon upgrades to 4, and I recommend getting your damage specific rigging skill to 4 as well as a start. And then from there, you could spend a little bit of extra ISK by teching up your power diagnostic system. So speaking of power, we do have a large cap battery. This is another one you can tech down to a large compact cap battery instead of the Republic fleet if you don't want to have a bunch of money spent, but you are going to need a good cap battery. So this is potentially one of the ones I would not tech down. I would really go for the afterburner, go into compact first before this, because you really want to be newt resistant to all the various mobs in there. So one of the final cheeky things we have down here, you guys know, you see my other videos, I would like to do the 3-in-1 low slot where we have 3 DPS modules and then a single tracking enhancer, especially when you have a ship that we're in a cruiser. We are medium tier on our guns, on our weapons. We don't really have something necessarily to hit those extremely fast moving frigates. That's why you want, and since we don't have a web, very big, since we don't have some kind of tracking enhancer in the mids, especially a web, Vagabond's really tight you in the mid slots. You really want to have a tracking enhancer in the lows. You know,
Laura, I want to fit 4 DPS modules to hit them as hard as I can.
listen, you can't hit things hard if you can't hit things. Put that on my tombstone, you know, come on. So you want to make sure that you're able to hit the lighter craft, the higher velocity things like the Damavix, like those rogue drones. So make sure you include a tracking enhancer in those. So let's talk about your ammo and the various things you're going to bring in your cargo, and then we're going to see how this looks like in space right now. So this is going to be an MTU focused fit. Almost all of our cruisers are going to be MTUs. You could pop the outside caches. You're going to see us pop some of those with the missile launcher, but the priority is always the bioadaptive cache. You want to kind of burn towards the center, drop off the MTU, and then get to poking. So we are going to have some consumables for you. We're going to have a synth drop booster, blue pill, and a hard shell. The hard shell is so cheap, it's only 100,000 ISK. I recommend you bring the dose 1, and basically every single one of your runs is no risk to pop it on all the runs. It makes it so much easier. That little bit of oomph, that 3% really does matter, because it's a percentage bonus that stacks with your then percentage bonus of Minmatar Cruiser level 5. So big deal. The synth blue pill is just one of those. You don't necessarily pop it every time, but it's an oh crap, oh my god, there's a like triple marshal room. Oh man, I have to get through it. 6% on your shield boost, but because it's 2.2 million, I don't use it every time. And then finally, the synth drop booster. I don't need this because my tracking speed is so good. We're including this for y'all in case you need, again, to be able to hit those lighter craft. If you're noticing this is taking you, 17 to 18 minutes to do because you just can't hit those guys, go make sure you check out the combat section at the end of this video where we show you how to pilot the Vagabond, and yes, how to make use of the better track and speed bonuses with the synth drop booster. So we'll quickly cover the pod here. I have a bunch of dash ones. These are 701, 801, 901. You don't need these. These are just a little bit extra oomph. They're less than 1 million ISK a piece. Why not? 800,000 rate of fire bonus capacitor, another 800,000. You don't need to get these, but for 4 million ISK, 5 million ISK, you get better stats. I don't know what else to tell you. That's just an easy, the juice is worth the squeeze with these. So let's go see how the Vagabond looks for T3s. A very simple, very cost-effective run. Let's see how it looks in space right now. Before we go further on this, you guys have seen our T4 video, which we put out a week ago, a couple weeks ago, or something like that. This is going to be a little bit different. This is going to be way more easy to do, also way more cost-effective of a fit. Let's see what we got here. We've got immediately got some Damavix, got some Vedmax. This first room, you can always kind of chill, not necessarily do stuff. So since we've got Damavix, let's just turn everything on. We're going to turn it all on immediately, and we're going to look for the ghostings first, and we're going to actually throw out all of our damage onto the ghosting immediately, even the drones. We're going to throw out even the drones are going to go onto the ghostings, then we're going to hit the oh, there's tangling there too. I didn't see that one. So something you could do is you can organize your stuff by type. You can organize it by type instead of, oh, here you go, just by damage. And we have a little bit of time, so let's throw the drones onto the Damavik as well and start hitting this sub node. And then let's think about going after something like this, actually. Let's start throwing our missiles onto that sub node. We're going to hit the E-War first, and this is something you're going to see me do in a lot of my videos, where if there's a ship that has one E-War, if it's just a single E-War, like one tangling Damavik, we're going to go after that one first. So now that that's done, we're going to pull the drones because they're starting to take some damage. Pull the drones, starting to take some damage, and we're going to keep focusing down the Vedmac. So the Vedmac, in every single Vedmac room, you do want to go as quickly as possible to the actual Vedmac itself, just because it is a lot of damage. And the only thing I kind of messed up in this room, I'm already noticing, is that we didn't launch our MTU soon enough. So we're not going to be able to get a lot of big, bad stuff. Let's kind of go towards the bioadaptive cache here. Where is that? Is this the sub node? That's a sub node. Let's go towards this. Yeah, the bioadaptive cache is right here. Good. So let's head towards this. We're going really, you guys can see we're going real fast. We're going about 1,000. You do want to keep an eye on the drones here. Make sure your shield is looking good. Make sure you're fighting the right targets. That's about it. And you can see that the Vedmac is spooling up, but once the Vedmac dies, that's basically it. The room is done. We really don't need to worry about anything else. We're just going to quickly launch the MTU. We're going to hit this, make sure the drones are taking damage. We're going to click the MTU and press orbit at like 25 and just call it a day. And from there, we're just going to pop every single node in this with our guns. And now it really doesn't matter. You can go after the E-War Damavix, but at this point, none of the E-War affects us because the anchorings just do Let's pull the drones back. And even at this stage, I would even recommend just pulling the drones back entirely. Something you can do in this stage as well when you don't have the drones running is you can keep the Damavix at range. This will maximize the damage that you do to them, and because they don't do a ton of damage to you, it really doesn't matter. Again, we have the afterburner off now just because we don't need to like really kite these guys. We want to reduce our angular velocity. You're going to see angular right here, and you're going to see these guys going very fast. Look at this, 1400. This is one of the weaknesses of the Damavik. I'll show you with this, one of the weaknesses of the Vedmak with the Vagabond with this fit. Thank you. The moment we call it the drones, the moment we start hitting them with missiles as well, you're going to see that these Damaviks just get plummeted, or pummeled. They plummet in health. It's been a long week. Thank you very much. So this is pretty awesome. And guys, we're recording this off stream. You watched this far. We're recording this off stream because my Vagabond T3 footage actually got like corrupted and it doesn't work anymore. So here we are. You guys get the behind the scenes, the good looks. So pull the drones back in, everything's good to go. Now, that was a sub 3.5 minute run. There is 2 more loot caches, one of them coming in right now, very, very close. So let's just make sure we're within range of this. Nice. We got a couple glorified decays, very nice. Once this guy pulls in this last one, it's about a couple thousand off. We are ready to go. Let's turn this off. Good. So now we can scoop up this loot and then scoop up this MTU. Now, there is one more loot cache in the field, but who cares? It doesn't matter. We are going to keep going. You're going to maximize your ISP per hour by not waiting. So we did get a couple stuff. In between each room, you want to overheat kill them. You want to reload your guns. You want to make sure you have your multi-spectrum on and your afterburner, and then just keep going in. So that was good. That was a 4-minute run. We're on track to being sub 12, sub 15 at least. Really good run. We should have launched our MTU sooner, because in T3s, stuff dies so fast. I'm used to T4s, T5s. That's how that goes. All right, so we do have a bunch of Lashaks here. Very nice. We got some rocks as well. All the starvings and the renewing, we're going to have to go after the renewing first. We do have a bunch of drones in here as well, spark needles. This is actually going to be a bit of a tougher room. We're going to immediately turn on our stuff. We're going to go after the spark needles first. We're going to ignore loot in this room. We're going to go after the renewing Lashak first, because we want immediately all of the damage that they're healing up to be done once we're within range of this 26. You notice we put the drones and the missiles on the Lashak immediately. We're not going to worry about anything else, and we can hit these spark needles. This is something that when you're taxiing, you want to be aware of. You want to make sure that if you're taxiing, you're not just hitting one thing. The spark needles do decent damage. Let's make sure we launch the MTU here. Very nice. We're about to broadside this renewing Lashak with our guns. One volley of the guns should do it good. Let's go towards the rest of the Lashaks. Let's make sure that we're kind of getting all of our damage onto the Lashaks, and because we're within range of them, and then let's lock up the rest of the drones. So this is a room that I'm really glad we got to showcase, because it's one of those rooms that's going to test your piloting skills and your target prioritization. Notice we have some yellow boxing coming in from the big boys here. So let's go after the starving Lashak. Now that that's done, looks like we only have 2 loot things in here. So let's hit the bioadaptive first, and then we're going to make sure that we're hitting, right, we're keeping the Lashak at range so we can do maximum damage to him. Watch your health here, because this could be one of those moments where all of a sudden you just start taking way too much damage, way too much. So we're going to put the drones on this spark needle. The room is basically done. Our health, we barely took any health there. We're going to keep hitting these spark needles. We can even try to, let's bring the drones back. We're starting to take some damage. Okay, let's bring them back. And we're going to keep at range the MTU now. We're going to get really close to the MTU, and then we're going to set this orbit at 25. We're going to turn off our afterburner. We're probably going to keep the drones in because there's just one mob left. Not a problem. Easy peasy. Guys, like I said, that was a triple Lashak room. That was a sub. We have 14 minutes left. That was a sub 2-minute room. It was like 2 minutes, 15 seconds, something like that. Pretty sick. There's a single loot cache left, and there's only one on the grid. So let's just make sure we've reloaded. Drones are in. And let's take a look at this loot while we wait the like 10 seconds, 30 seconds for this to go. So very nice. We got a Raging Dark. I actually really like these because they're so cheap for a T4. We're going to be doing some more Dark Abyss a little bit later. Once this guy comes in, he's about, was that like 15, 14 off? Nice. So this is the typical Vagabond experience, y'all. The typical heavy assault cruiser Abyss experience where you're just not at all moving. You're just orbiting your MTU. Great. So that room is done. We scooped the MTU. Let's turn the afterburner on. Everything is reloaded. and we didn't have to overheat anything. We didn't have to use our hard shell. Didn't have to use any of our other consumables. I know I don't have some of the consumables that we've mentioned. I know I don't need those. You guys can if you want to. I don't even bother buying them just because I know I don't need them. So far, so good. We've got 13 minutes left in this 12 minutes and 50 seconds left, excuse me, okay, in this Vagabond Abyss T3 electricals. You're seeing how simple this is. You're seeing how some basic piloting, some choosing when to increase your DPS or not is going to be the move here. Now we do have some strike grip Teslas here, so we're going to go far. We're going to go far, and we're going to look at where there's some snare casters, a lot of snare casters. So what we're going to do, since there's so many, is we're going to prioritize the bioadaptive cache. Let's just go this way. And this is going to be tough because we can't really call out our drones on these guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to start hitting some of these loot caches. We're going to hope that these snare casters get a little bit closer to us. Good, that's what we're seeing. So let's lock up some of these guys. Let's hit this, and we're trying to keep an eye on the snare casters. You can't call out the drones against these strike grip Teslas at all. Literally at all. Why? Because they have such great tracking. They will just poke you to kingdom come. They will kill your drones very effectively. So let's just keep trying to throw out our missiles at the bioadaptives and keep randomly poking these snare casters, because these snare casters are getting close to us within range of our guns here, our projectile turrets.
20,000 LP. 20,000 each? Oh wait, this is how much? Wait, they each got 20,000 LP, but I'm not even in a I'm not even in a where am I? I'm in Eugales. This is a Caldari State contested frontline, but I got like a lot of LP off that one for whatever reason. I don't really know why. This was a scout outpost, and it paid out 40k LP. With that kind of money, oh man, I can make some money. Alright, drones are out. We're gonna go to the next scout. Oh no, this was the Advanced 3. So the Advanced 3 was more, is why. So, okay, that makes sense. The small... Yeah, I don't think it really matters. We'll work the fleet. Faction warfare is working. This is a good site.
And the strike grips are getting really far from us still. So this is good because these snare casters, their web is going to really make it difficult for us to out-heal these Tesseras. Even in a T3 Abyss, these Tesseras, you want to respect these guys. You want to make sure. So yeah, we're just killing everything close to us. Yeah, we did get webbed finally. We did get webbed finally, so let's just make sure we keep on locking stuff up. Where's this guy? Yeah, let's head towards this guy. We're webbed. I'm going to call up my drones briefly to hit this guy because we are unable to track on this dude. Unable to track on this guy, so we're going to call out the drones on this guy and just keep a sharp eye on the drone HP because the battle cruiser mobs are up next, and they are going to be the ones that are going to be the biggest problem for us. So this is a really good showcase on the final room. And look, all of a sudden we're just, oh, I probably should be using my missiles on this too. So all of a sudden, look, we're not tracking. All of a sudden, right? So this is actually one of those rooms that maybe, just maybe, you want to pop that tracking thing, the tracking, whatever it is, implant, the consumable that we showed you. All right, so pull the drones back in. All of these guys, and you see it, Chad. Look at all of that damage coming in. Wowzer, wowzer, wowzer. So let's put all of the damage onto this guy because he's the closest one to us. And what you're going to do, we're going to overheat this. We're going to look at these guys, and we want to go up. Okay, we want to go up. Here's a big lesson. We're actually going to use the hard shell on this one too. Why not? Here's a big lesson in transversal velocity. Okay, so first of all, against these guys, you're going to overheat the shield health module, the hardener first, because it's going to stop the incoming damage, okay? Then we're going to get transversal velocity. These guys, we were going this way, and they were right behind me. So they were doing maximum damage to us. So now I swap direction, start going. Let me fix this before we keep going. I swap direction. Okay, let's stop heating this. I swap direction So now I'm going this way and they're going this way. So now there's a right angle, okay? My transversal velocity, our angular velocity is higher against this guy, and we're able to do good stuff. So we're not going to overheat anymore because we've stopped taking the damage. We are going to try to keep this guy within the proper range of us, 26. And as long as you can press Control D, as long as they're not directly behind you, the angular velocity is going to be pretty high. I'll fix it. I'll fix my overview here. I notice I don't have angular velocity on this, and you're just going to keep going like a box. Good. See how we were taking a bunch of damage before, and now we're not? This is the proper thing to do. And by the way, we put our MTU right by the gate, right at the center. Incredible piloting coming in here. We're not calling out our drones because these guys will kill our drones very, very effectively.
Odd. Oh,
we're gonna head back to MTU now because even though these guys are doing
I'm gonna take the fight because it's a 2v1.
A bunch of damage to me before, we're not worried about this. It's very simple, very easy. We were able to get this done. Let's just make sure we're heading to the MTU and keep it at range. We don't even have to orbit it. There it is. There it is. So now, since we're gonna wait for this final loot cache, which is about 20.
I stole this site from this guy. I don't care either. Get out. Get out. Stay out of our thing. "20 minutes. Oh well. That's a weird question. I'm gonna see. In EVE Online, can I tell drones to assist and guard at the same time, or is it actually like opposite choices? Do they oppose? Oh, okay. I'm gonna take your side. Why do I have to wait 20 minutes though? That's stupid. Why should I have to wait for his stupid cap site? Whatever.
Kilometers from us, we're gonna reload. Right click, repair all modules. You've got your paste. And that was really good. Why we won that, just to be super clear, is in the Abyss, there's a bunch of mobs and they're coming at you. But the moment they get directly behind you, they start doing a ton of damage to you. So all you have to do, is actually better if I show it like this, is swap to a higher angular velocity. A right angle is going to stop those guys killing us. So those mobs that we just showed you are some of, and we finished this Abyss in about 12 minutes. Guess we got a nice cap battery, nice 20 million. It's got the gamma too. Nice, very nice. So we'll talk about the ISK per hour in just a sec. The two rooms that are going to really kill you are going to be the Karen room and that room. It's all about piloting. It's all about piloting, making sure you're doing it right. Hopefully we got to show you all that. That was a 12-minute Abyss, mainly because I'm shoutcasting. I've done these in like 11 minutes, 10 minutes. It's not going to be a problem for you. Let's look at how much loot we got out of that single Abyss run. 12 minutes in, using our loot folder. We got about 32 million ISK. Now, as for transparency, we did get a large drop. We got the Raging Gamma, very, very nice. This was not a very big drop, that's fine. But look at the consistent loot. Let's just not even look at the rare drop that we got. Let's look at the consistent loot. You know, 19 million ISK in just 12 minutes. Not bad. So let's look at the average on our favorite site, Abyss Tracker. You can Google this, abysstracker.com. Thank you very much. And what we're going to use this for, you've seen us talk about this, is we're going to showcase the average ISK per hour of a cruiser run. So let me show you this. In T3s, cruiser going to get 12.2. So that goes pretty good for what we did. And you saw the consistently was very similar to that. So let's do this math here. Let's do this math here. So in an hour, let's say we do it in 12 minutes. Okay, that's 5 runs times, and then what was it? 12.2 is like 12. Let's just call it 12.1 to round down a little bit. That's 60 million ISK per hour. That's pretty great. for the cost. Now, the cost of this ship is 400 million-esque, so is the juice worth the squeeze? I gotta tell you, this is one of those chill abyss. Sometimes we don't necessarily want to pay it back in 2 to 3 hours, which is our goal. Sometimes it's about how chill it is. And if I looked kind of excited, it's just because I love doing the abyss, but this was simple. I've done hundreds of these, and this is definitely cost effective and worth your time to do in the abyss. And if you want more projectile abyss, including a T4 Vagabond to get even better ISK per hour, more than double ISK per hour here, that's this playlist right here, and sub right here for the best EVE guides. We'll see you in the next video. Thanks very, very much.
The first rule of being an A-list streamer is brutal, but simple. Once you turn the camera on, you never get to turn it off. To the world, he's XQC, one of the most watched, highest paid personalities on the planet.
XQC is the biggest streamer on Twitch.
The fame, the 9-figure deals, the constant roar of 40,000 live viewers. From the outside, it looks like the ultimate success story. But that is not the story you're about to see. This story is much darker. Because sometimes you get everything you ever wanted, just to lose everything that ever mattered.
You get nothing. You're not the victim here.
Now, every story about a downfall starts somewhere, and for XQC, it started at the top. Felix Lengyel was a professional gamer turned full-time streamer. Online, he went by XQC, and by early 2018, he'd already built a massive following. Over 200,000 people followed him on Twitch, and every night, thousands tuned in just to watch the madness unfold.
Nobody will ever do ever.
XQC was the definition of an internet troll. He talked weird, said whatever popped into his head. And yeah, he wasn't exactly the cleanest guy around, but that's not really the point, because he could make quite literally anything entertaining. Back then, the magic was in his reactions. It really didn't matter what happened. Dying in game, getting stream sniped, some annoying TTS donation. He'd explode, lose his mind, and somehow make it hilarious. But over time, the chat started catching on. They realized that the more they pushed him, the better content got. So it kind of became this game. Who could piss him off the most? Who could get the biggest reaction? Every week, the stunts got worse, and what started as harmless trolling was slowly turning into something meaner. The line between the stream and real life was starting to blur. And in about 2 seconds, someone was about to take it too far.
I'm coming out, coming out, coming out. Yes. What? Hands up, hands up.
For the first time in his life, Felix found himself staring down the barrels of a few standard issue LAPD Glocks. A viewer from his stream had found his home address and called the police reporting a violent threat. This is known as swatting. It's an internet prank that's gotten people killed before. And for Felix, this was the moment that changed everything.
He had 3 guns at me. What the?
He realized that being live meant being exposed, that anyone with a grudge or a twisted sense of humor could reach through the screen and make his real life collapse in seconds. So he started closing doors. No more personal details, no leaks, no risks. His addresses, his circle, and even what he said on stream, all of it got locked down. From that point forward, XQC was split in two. There was the version everyone knew, the chaotic, high-energy streamer who seemed to live entirely online.
I just want to play the game!
And then there was the other side, the one he kept completely off camera. That's where this story gets interesting, because what the internet thought they were watching wasn't real life. It was a reflection stitched together from a million half-truths. What was actually happening behind the scenes is a whole different story. With Felix's address being leaked online, he realized he needed to move. He left his apartment and moved in temporarily with the girl he had met just a few months ago. Her name was Sammy, a fellow streamer in the Overwatch community, better known as Adept. With a new setup and a new apartment, Felix once again went live.
What time is it? 10? I think it's 10. Go again!
And from the outside, nothing looked wrong. If anything, it looked better than usual.
Is this working, boys, or what?
He was streaming more than ever, laughing more than ever, making more money than ever.
Does that look like a shark?
Every month, the numbers continued to climb. The chat was bigger, the clips were everywhere, and Twitch was basically becoming his playground. Eventually, Felix found a new place, something more permanent, and Adept moved in with him. Online, they insisted they were just roommates, but whenever they were on stream together, they didn't exactly look like just roommates.
Fix these right up. Oh my god, you really did.
It was kind of sweet. Two streamers building a life off of the same madness. They'd joke on stream, sometimes argue a little, but the infinitely parasocial chat would eat it up. It felt like a look into his real life. And maybe that's why nobody thought
so fly.
Twice when things seemed off. If he changed rooms, it was just a new setup. If he ended the stream early, chat blamed the bad sleep schedule. Little things you only notice when you already know how the story ends.
She's fly.
From 2020 to 2022, it was the golden run. XQC became Twitch's poster boy. He was the single most watched streamer for 3 years in a row. Wake up and do it. He had the faith of their fans. He's living the dream apart. To understand why everything
sounded like DMCA, and it better fucking not be.
went wrong, we need to rewind all the way back to 2018. After moving in with Adept, the swattings didn't just magically go away. Somehow, within weeks, his address kept getting leaked online, and once it was out there, it was only a matter of time before the police showed up at his door.
Actually, get me the f out of here, man. I'm so f***ing done with all of it, man. Holy sh**. Yeah, I'll get the f out of here, dude. I'm out to man. I don't want to live anymore. Retarded.
Felix learned fast. After those first incidents, he made sure it never happened live again. No cameras, no chat reactions, nothing for the trolls to feed on.
We'll be on the move for a little bit, but it'll be fine.
He gets like a nondescript background with like some windows, and they start searching for architectural plans in AutoCAD. Oh, XQC's house. It must be in LA somewhere.
I'm not gonna talk about it too much.
It looks like some patio, maybe in Torrance or something. So they go looking.
It's whatever.
Oh my god.
Every time he thought he'd found a safe spot, something would slip. One day he'd be streaming from one place, and the next somewhere completely different.
I'll find a way to get my stuff somewhere I can keep it safe. I'll find a way.
Sometimes he'd crash at a friend's house, or head back to Montreal to stay with his parents until he could find a new place. But none of it really felt safe.
Almost every day, the police came to our house with a full squad. I was genuinely scared that I was going to die.
Now, anyone near him, Sammy, friends, family, were in danger solely because he was there with them.
Just me being around people, like, endangers them. It's just kind of, like, unfair for others.
And the worst part, there wasn't really anything he could do about it. The more famous he got, the bigger the audience became, and the more dangerous that 1% of it became too.
I don't know what the f is wrong with you guys. I don't know what the f is wrong with you absolute degenerates.
Moving became routine. Every so often came a new house with a new setup, and each time it looked the same. A plain, empty bedroom.
I just thought, if I purchase a home, and I'm the only person on the title, it's my home, I thought, what could possibly go wrong?
Nothing if you secure it. If you put like a really big wall and a really big gate. And that's what I would do. I get a really big 14-foot wall that they got a scale that's got, you know, motion sensors on it and stuff. You don't have to build big. A lot of rich people think that they've got to have like a pond over there or a big yard or something. You don't have to build very big. You could build, you know, smaller, but you should build your own place. Should put a wall around it like Russ. Put 14-foot walls around it like Russ and a fucking security gate. And you don't have to have a lot of room in there. You could literally have a house the size of a trailer in there with a wall that's only the size of, you know, I don't know, what's a good descriptor, like a city block or something, or I don't know, yeah, like, I don't know, city block's really big, like smaller than that, like, I don't know, like the size of 2 houses, lawns, or something like that, and yeah, you could do it pretty well. And what are they going to do? They'd have to parachute in or something like that. They're definitely not going to harass you in the place. And if the cops get swatted, they come to your gate and they're like, open up the gate. And you're like, yes, can I help you? Right? And they're like, well, it's obvious that you haven't killed anybody. You're not covered in blood or whatever. Right? And it's like, yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm rich. I'm famous. And they swat me all the time. I'm terribly sorry or whatever. It is kind of crazy. It's like, that's how I would do it. I would never, ever try to do that anywhere that I rented. If I rented, I would never, ever assume I had privacy. Rentals, you don't have privacy. You're basically on public land. The landlord, when you're famous, you shouldn't have a landlord, because the landlord can just walk in your fucking house at any given time and snap a shot of your bathroom or your bedroom or something like that. And they can post that online, and they're probably within their legal rights. I mean, there might be kind of a privacy violation. There might be a voyeurism law that they violate, that it's depending on the state. But most lawyers could probably get them off, because it's honestly, they own that building. They can go in there and take a fucking shot of your bedroom if they want. Which is why, if you're rich and famous like XQC, you shouldn't have ever rented. Not the minute that you hit like $1 million, and these guys, they hit higher than that. They hit like 20, 40, 50 million dollars and shit like that. As soon as you hit $1 million, no more, well, probably more like 5, but the minute that you hit like $5 million, you should immediately buy a house and put a wall around it. Because if you are not your own landlord, you have no rights. Anybody can just come in. Anybody. Like, especially the landlord. The landlord will take your rights away. I've seen it before. Landlords will just do what they want. If they feel like coming in your house, they will. And so, so that if you actually have like fame and money issues, or not issues, but if you actually have like money and fame, you don't rent, because that gives your rights away and your privacy to at least the landlord, if not the public. And then if you're renting and they know where it is, if you don't own your own house, you don't have like a wall or security or anything like that. So if you're renting and the people know where it is, they can just show up at your front doorstep and be like, you don't understand, I love you, you can't turn me away, you don't understand how much I love you, I write poetry about you all day long, I made a movie that I displayed to 1,500 people about you and all this stuff. And you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, I really like you, I need to spend time with you, let me in your house. And you're like, no. And then you shut the door. You're like, I don't care how much you like me, you're acting crazy. And that's what these celebrities get. And I'm sympathetic to it, which is why you don't rent. The minute that you have any money at all, you go to a secluded place somewhere near where you grew up, where you know the area very well, and you build a wall around a smaller house, and you secure that wall, and you secure the security joint, the security point, and you get like motion sensors all over that motherfucker and lasers and stuff, and you know very, very well if somebody is on your property or not. If you're really rich, like $20 to $50 million rich, you hire security 24/7. And that's something I would do as him as well. Now, I don't think he likes that vibe or whatever. Oh, this isn't good. Ah, whoa. That was a bit crazy. And like, and that's how I view it. Like, it's this thing about your success. The more money that you get, the more problems you can dodge. And so if you're at like the 100,000 to 5 million level, which to me is like, that's essentially like gold. It's like gold bracket in Overwatch or whatever. You're like better than everybody else. And you don't have to worry about don't worry about doing the ELO grind anymore. And you just you just chill. But then you want to go higher, like platinum, which would be like 5 to 10 mil, or like fucking diamond, which would be like 10 to 20, or like masters, which would be like 10 to 50 million dollars, like Ninja or this guy XQC. And so like long ago, back when these guys are up there at masters level, but they're making rube ass motherfucking novice mistakes. And I'm not even rich and famous like them, but I know how to do it better than them. They should have bought a house way back when they hit 5 million at gold, not gold, but platinum. When they reached the platinum level on like the top 500 ladder or whatever it is, they should have just bought a house, because that's like the best way. That's what Amaranth did. That's what they all do. They all buy a house and they secure that motherfucker really well on their terms, because no landlord cares about your privacy. Honestly, I would say privacy is kind of the landlord's. I would say landlords are disinterested in privacy. I would say they want to know what's going on with you. If they think you're drunk or on drugs, or you're doing property damage or lowering the property value of their investment at all, they will prosecute or fire or evict you. Like, landlords are de-incentivized to protect your privacy. They don't. There's not a lot in their world that pays them to do so. It's more like they get paid to ignore your privacy and know exactly what you're doing. Sometimes they'll probably keep cameras on your property, whether you like it or not, and that sort of stuff. And so and that's why like to me, getting rich is no longer having a landlord. Now, I feel I do consider myself rich in some ways. I will inherit 2 houses and a car. Well, it was 2 cars, but we already sold one. And, 3 cars. But the truck is really old. It's worth like $500. But yeah, I'll inherit 3 cars and 2 houses. And one of the houses is a fifth wheel. It's not even really a house. The other one is a double wide, so I'll inherit like a fifth wheel and a double wide and 4 acres of land, and I will stay here until I die. And to me, that's rich because I don't ever have to pay a landlord ever again. I don't ever have to pay the water grid ever again. And when my mother passes, I fully intend to spend any money that I have on a foolproof, long-term, idiot-proof solar setup so I can get off the power grid. And no matter what the fuck happens, there's no landlord charging me rent. There's no property. I mean, I do have to pay property taxes, but that's it. Property taxes, that's it. And then that's like my rent. My real rent is my property taxes essentially. And then I live on the power and the water and the fifth wheel, and I rent out the house up there, and I camera monitor it, and I make sure that there's no hanky panky or anything like that. I tell them I'm just in back, but you'll never even see me because I don't come up front. And they're like, oh, okay, no problem. And I'm very accessible. You can come reach to me or talk to me and just come knock on my door, anything that you need to do. And I'll be very accessible to them and stuff. And I will run an Airbnb, and I will rent out my mother's house when she passes. And I will use that money to get by and buy video games and swipe for ISK or whatever the fuck for the rest of my life. And so I consider myself rich now, despite I don't have more than, I think, $40 in my bank account. Not until my disability check arrives, and then I have $380 each month. I live off of $380. So living off of $380 a month is not poor. That's not rich. It's as poor as you can basically get. But it's very cheap because I don't have to pay water. I pay rent, but it's through my disability, and the only reason I bring it up is it's like, to me, real rich isn't like having a lot of cash in your bank account. It is to a degree, but to me, real rich is you don't have to pay bills, you don't have to move anywhere, you don't have a landlord, and the worst thing you have to worry about is property taxes in the country that you love to live in. And so, I did get rich essentially when I was like 39. I moved out here, and it was confirmed when my stepfather passed, and I began to understand that the baby boomers were going to leave me a Nepo baby legacy, which is insane. My mother's going to leave me a Nepo baby legacy where I inherit land and 2 homes and all that. And I'm very happy about it. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that's the lesson. But the problem is I'll never ever be able to blow up as a major streamer because I can't ever really, protect my privacy, and people can just show up or whatever. So I have no interest in that. So I de-incentivize them. I don't talk to the chat. I don't ask for a lot of money. I don't ever do a subathon or anything like that. I don't ever say, pay me to do this or swipe me to do that or give me a sub for this or anything. I don't compromise myself. I don't ever put myself at that level like almost every other streamer does. And that's all some weird, and it's not like I wrote the plot. I just live instinctually and I follow my instincts, and that's all on purpose. Like all of it. It's all on purpose, all of it. And so at the end of it, I intend to be free of the water lords, free of the power lords, free of the landlords, free of the drug lords, free of the food. I can't get free of the food lords. I always have to buy food, but my cost for food right now is $205 a month. $205. Swear to God, it is. It's $205. I know exactly how much I spend on food every month. It's $205. My mother helps out a bit because she loves to cook, so she's going to cook anyway. So she likes cooking for 2 people, and that reduces my budget to $205. So it'd be a little bit more when she passes, whenever that is. And so now, that's very rich in my opinion, when you don't have to worry about almost anything except for the power bill and security and upkeep. And then when I don't even have to worry about that, and I don't even have to worry about like power bills because I have solar and stuff, it will be a very good time in my life. It'll be a very good year. And I'll be old, so it'll be difficult to enjoy it. I won't have my youth to enjoy it like a young man would, but it will have happened, unlike a lot of other people that I know, being totally free and off the grid, and totally free in my decisions and everything. And that's what I value. I really don't care about money. I care about not being hassled by middlemen and not paying out the fucking ass for something that's essentially free, like water. Water isn't free. It takes time to get it there and get it clean, but it is something that falls from the sky whenever it rains. And for example, I have a well that's tapped into our marshland that takes rainwater from the sky and puts it right directly into my sink over there. And that's an example of how I don't pay the water bill, and I do benefit from rain. So I love it when it rains. I'm like, water in my tanks. And I'm sure that'll all require upkeep and stuff and work that needs to be done. Money needs to be spent to upkeep it all, but I will spend my time on that as opposed to a job. Every day I'll spend like an hour just making sure that every bit of maintenance that this place needs is done. If there's not an Airbnb guest, I go let myself in there, make sure I don't have a squatter or something like that, or that nothing's dirty or any problems, or they didn't leave any like filth or dirt or anything, or hair anywhere. Hair is a big one with hotels. One of the reasons I think I can be successful as an Airbnb person is I actually did spend 2 years as a housekeeper in a 5-star hotel, working and turning over sometimes between 4 and 10 hotel rooms a day for $25 an hour plus tips and stuff, like 40 bucks in the end, basically. And I have some experience with turning over 5-star hotel rooms, and I know what discerning clientele look for, like literally with the hair in the bathtubs and stuff like that. I know what rich people will tolerate and what they won't, because I lived in a 5-star hotel for a while, or I worked in one, excuse me. And and I know, and I feel like those skills will translate. I believe they will. And so I will use that for residual income. And in that way, I can hire probably my friends that come help clean my house. I will hire them as part-time. I'll put money in their pockets, trying to help them out. Put money in their, maybe I'll let them move on the land essentially and just have them help me upkeep this place like a bed and breakfast. I could open a bed and breakfast, real exclusive little, like 2-3, well, it's a 3-bedroom bed and breakfast Airbnb that has like a beautiful view of Mount Baker and access to the town. It's 10 minutes from the airport, so you can just fly in if you're an executive. It's really fast from the airport to my house. It's like 8 minutes, something like that. And I can put all that in the ad, and I can attract rich people. And my mother left it a nice enough place where we could rent it out. And yeah. And that's where we're at now. And I look at that, but I mean, that's all planned for when I'm in my 50s. Right now I'm 45, and I just want to pursue my career as a streamer for like another 5 solid years. I've already been at it for 4. I want to do like a solid 10 years trying to build myself as a streamer and just learn to talk like this and learn to entertain people and keep going. And in the end, I believe I will be successful just through sheer hard work and luck and inheritance and all the stuff that it takes to get by in this world. Disability was a great help. I really didn't need it. I don't have the discipline to work for another man. I can't kowtow to a principle that I don't agree on. And I can't pay the rent. It drives me crazy. I can't pay that rent. I have a serious issue with it. That's murder rent. It just destroys you financially. And so, yeah, so maybe the streamer job blows up, right? Which would be nice. That's the dream. But I start making money for whatever reason. I just get lucky and I get noticed or something. Whatever happens to streamers, you go viral for something or something. Anyways, if that were to ever happen, if I were to get $5 million in the fucking bank, you better believe I'm buying a fucking house in Denver, and it's not going to be very fucking big, and I'm going to have them extend the fucking walls and add in a fucking electric moving gate, and I'm going to treat it like a dungeon, and I'm going to live in the basement. And for anybody to even get to me, they're going to have to get through like a magnetic sealed metal door into a big old room. I don't need a lot of rooms. I'll even put my bed in there. But I mean, I want a real private place to sunk it down into the ground and stuff, where upstairs there's just like essentially just a guard shack. It's like a guard shack that leads to a bunker with a magnetically sealed door that's sunken into the ground, where I know that nobody can get there except through the fucking door. Not even the cops. That's how, I mean, you would need like $5 million to do that. That's what I would do with $5 million if I were to get it. Is I would ensure that I was off the power grid, off the water grid, had my own well drilled on my land. It leads to my faucet, and good 20-year solar and water purification devices, and all this, and maybe a septic tank even. And then I got a septic tank here. And then what was I gonna say? Yeah, and then once you're free of all the grid, you just run security and cameras and stuff, and you just continue to do your job, and you're careful when you leave and all that. But that's the security that I would need. I would need a big wall around a guard shack, and beneath the guard shack there would be a magnetically sealed door, just some stairs leading down to a magnetically sealed door. And maybe I keep one guard, right? I keep I pay one salary. If I'm making like $5 million, I could probably afford to pay like one single guard to sit there all year long, 5 days, probably two guards, right? So they can spell each other. Two guards, pay them each $50,000 a year to just sit there and patrol the little guard shack with the giant 14-foot walls. And I go in and out at will, and I say, hey guys, how you doing? And they're like, oh, doing pretty good, boss. How you doing? And oh, pretty good. I got to go meet this girl at the bar or something. And they let me leave, or no, they don't let me leave, but they just watch me leaving, and they're always there. And even if somebody swats me, those people are there to protect me and all that. And it doesn't have to be big. That's the problem. Rich people build too big. I'm okay with a single room the size of this room. Like the room I'm in right now is big enough for my life. I know because I fit in this already. So I don't need much more than that. I don't need much more than like 700 square feet. Most rich people, they buy 4,000 to 5,000 or 10,000 square feet. I don't need that. I'll take like 1,400. It's pretty good for me. That's really, really good. That's too much almost. So I would take like 1,000-foot square space that had a sunken stairwell down into the ground with concrete walls, like a bunker, and and oxygen and all this stuff. And I would seal myself off from the world, and I would call it like the dungeon. And I would just stay down there, and I would work, and I would go out during the night and buy food and go to the town, drink at the bars and stuff, and have fun. But overall, like no matter what, nobody can actually reach me. And that's the reality that this guy needs. When he reached $50 million, he should have found it somewhere. And I imagine he probably did, but it took him a while to conceptualize it. It wouldn't have been hard for me to conceptualize it. I'm not even there, and I can conceptualize it better than him.
And sometimes
my friends, long before people like SQC could even make money like this doing this, my friends were into buying bunkers, and I mean like full-blown missile silos and shit like this, and bunkers. And they sell those on James List. If you go and look, they do sell bunkers and helicopter fucking hangars and stuff like this, and you can't buy those if you have that kind of money. And it's a good buyer's market too. They're always looking to sell that shit because they don't use it. And so you can go buy yourself a fucking missile silo and live in the missile silo, and I probably would. And they're not that expensive. They're expensive, but but you probably get away with like a $1.5 million purchase of a missile silo, and then just man the upstairs with two guards. And you don't even need a wall at that point. You're so deep in, you got an elevator that seals to your DNA and eye retina scan or whatever. You could do mad scientist shit down there. Nobody would ever stop you because the security always warns you if the cops are coming. You go up there to meet them, and they're like, "We got to search your house," and you're like, "Oh, really?" Because I've been kind of like growing cocaine and heroin and marijuana down there, and they're like, "Really?" And it's like, "Yeah, one plant each for my personal." And then they're like, "Really? You got like a cocaine plant and a marijuana plant and a poppy plant down there?" "Yeah, just one though, one of each, enough for one person's use." "Yeah." And they're going to be like, "That's felony possession." "Yeah, it is, but it's one plant of each substance, and there's no actual drugs on the premises whatsoever. There's just plants down there. There's the marijuana buds, but I haven't touched those. It's just a plant, And that's what I would do. And I live down there, and I'd live off the grid. I could do that right here if I wanted to. If I suddenly struck it rich to like $20 million for some fucking reason. Like, okay, let me tell you a story that my mother used to tell me a lot when I was a child. And I don't know if it's true, but she just used to tell me this. But she was like, through your father's uncles, there is a mega rich person in my family who has like 60 family members or something, but I'm one of them. And I'm in the Horton clan like this. And if all of those members die, potentially, she was telling me there's like this $200 million fortune that could fall to me. But the likelihood of it is very crazy. All my cousins and all my family would have to die first. But you never know. And so shit like that could happen. Like a lawyer could show up one day being like, "Yeah, I've got this check for a trust for $200 million because I do have rich family like that." It's kind of crazy. I don't ever see them anyways. I met them, but I've never seen them. or so I don't see them and I don't talk to them. But, you know, they do exist. And I wonder sometimes if that'll happen, shit like that'll happen, because it's like, you know, I am in the bloodline. If it does, my aunt could leave me a house and some money. I get the feeling she kind of wants to if I visit her. But you know, and that kind of thing. And I don't know, I don't want to count on the future, but it's just like, you know, my future is bright despite how dark of the present is. My future is bright. So I think all the time I'm just like, I like, you seem stressed out as a successful streamer, but in my opinion, the security was the only thing you ever should have bought. I see that you buy these fancy headphones and all these weird things, and you move all the time, you got a fancy big spatial apartment and stuff, but really you only ever need one place that you actually own, that you set up for permanent life in, that you get off the grid, so you're not paying power bills, you're not paying water bills, and if the grid goes down, you continue to thrive, and so does your family, because the grid will go down. That's the right wing's game. Eventually the right wing wants to take the grid down. They hate the grid. The grid ensures that we all have complacency and peace. So yeah, the right wing will destroy the grid sooner or later. And I want to get off it. I want to get off it right away. I'm already off the water grid, like full blown off it. Like when I go drink water out of my sink, I get nervous because it's kind of like rural rainwater and stuff. But I mean, you know, but you could purify it better if you wanted to with a Brita filter or some such, or even like a better, more sunken sink filter. But anyways, I could just go drink from the sink right now, and that's water from the ground. It's not water from the water company. And I can't tell you, when I had that, I didn't know what it meant to me. But when I realized that I would never have to pay a water bill ever again if we stay here anyways, I was like, I don't want to leave. I kept saying it to my mother like this whole year. I was like, I don't want to leave. I keep thinking about this old anime series called Trigun, where I remember all the things that people do just for a glass of water in the desert. And I kept telling her, like all year, I kept telling her, you might think it's some crazy pipe dream to sell water when there's a terrible water or drought crisis. And the drought crisis will only get worse as the more and more human beings come onto the planet, and the less well we protect our water systems and all this, the more water is going to become like liquid gold. And I told her, I was like, we should not leave this place. She wanted to move to Arizona, and I was like, I will move. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I don't care. But my argument is I don't think you understand how valuable the well is. It's crazy. Even rich people sometimes struggle to drill a well, and the water, if it's endless, it is, to me, that's sort of like you've harnessed the sun, because you never have to worry about fresh water ever again. It just seeps into your groundwater from the endless rainwater, and that's tapped to a well. The well keeps filling, you know, it never ever empties because we don't have enough usage or whatever to empty it. So and that freedom, it was like better than money. And that's, I understood from that, having had it now for 4 years, that being off the water grid was something I really didn't know how much I wanted till I had it. Now I have this burning desire to get off the power grid. Really, really bad. They have been talking about plug-in solar, and I've been meaning to crash course it. You're supposedly able to just connect a plug-in solar like panel that you can put on your roof. It's portable, and it goes right to your outlet, and it'll charge whatever else is in the outlet, which is insane. Now, I'm not sure if power systems work that way, and the only state in the union where they're legal right now is Utah, but maybe in 10 years there might be plug-in solar, which is like a brand new tech, I guess. I don't know if it's brand new, it's probably not, but yeah, what is plug-in solar, right? What is it?
All right, guys, if you want to find out how you can generate electricity with a solar panel in your house, super easy. I'm talking under 1 minute. I'm not going to make any cuts. We're going to set this thing up, and I'm going to show you that you can make your own electricity.
This guy lives in Utah.
Let's do it. So, of course, the solar panels are important here. This is a Rogue
$200 bucks? $200, yeah, right.
200-watt panel. These are some of the best panels at the most affordable price. Now you can see they come with these two cables connected on the back of the panel right here. Real simple. There's one cable, there's a second cable. These are polarized, so you can't plug them into the wrong thing, pretty much like dummy proof. So the next thing is the Y&H micro inverter right here. This is a 600 watt inverter. It takes two.
So here we are at 350, probably 380
panels, one on this side, one on this side. You can connect them together in series. We're not going to do that here today, but if you have multiple ones, you can connect the input here and the output goes on this side. So today,
look how cool the tech has got. With these two little devices, you could just run a television and a fucking console for as long as you have sunlight.
the output.
That to me is like you're essentially God. If you're off the water grid and you're off the power grid and you have a homestead and you don't have anybody leaning on you except for property taxes and you're off the water, off the power, and you're not paying anybody for dope or alcohol or anything like that, you have attained modern godhood. Even some kings don't have those kind of amenities. You are like a modern king.
It's included.
And I'm not that far from that.
With this inverter's right here, let's plug that in real easy like that. These are waterproof connections.
Nice.
Okay, and on this end, check this out. It's got a standard household US 110 power plug on it. So now let's get the feeds from the solar panel.
Oops, sorry, I paused.
Right here. As I said, they are keyed, so you can't put them in the wrong side. So this goes on this side like this. You got to push it a little bit at the end. They're waterproof, so to get that gasket seated. And here's the other one that goes in like this. Okay, you can see now my inverter sees power from the solar panel. It's a red light, meaning we're not getting anything. You got a little LCD display over here, nothing over there. So let's plug in.
This is so cool, I want one.
This is a connection with an extension cord to my house. Let's plug that in, guys. And what you'll see is the LCD display is lit up. You can see it's generating 0 watts of power right now. Actually, it just went up to 0. Let me get out of the way here. My shadow's interfering with the power on the panel. You can see now it's making 18 watts. It's going up 35 watts. So essentially what we're doing is we're putting power into the house here. Now you can see, come over here. This, I don't want to get in the way of the solar panel. See, this is light green. That means it's actually generating power and putting it into your house. Now you'll see that if I cut, let me make sure that, let's get that green again. Is it green now? Yeah.
See, I don't want to put it in my house. I just want to, I want it to power one power strip with this 86-inch television screen, this computer, and this other monitor, and just those 3 devices. The rest of the house I'll pay power on the grid or whatever, but I want my computers and monitors running off of solar power.
It's green. If I cut here, see, have this and that in the picture.
This guy's talking
time.
really loud.
Here,
It's like the volume on this got turned up or something. Sorry.
If I cut power to the house, you'll see that will turn red. It's no longer generating power. Let's reconnect it up. Give it a second. Let's see, I can't see. Yep. So we're generating power now. Now I want to show you one other thing. So here's my extension cord. It goes like that, and it plugs right into a circuit in my house. All right, guys, it is the wrap up. Here's the deal. So I know some of you are thinking, how in the world is this possible and how is it safe? So here's the deal. This micro inverter will only work if it detects power on your grid, meaning incoming power to your house. If that stops, this thing turns off. The reason why is you don't want to backfeed electricity on that power grid so that the electrical guys working on those poles and stuff like that are safe. So that's the deal here. Also keep in mind these systems are only capable of generating up to 1,200 watts of power, which is going to supplement it. For most houses, you're going to need more than that. So the other thing you're going to have to keep in mind is you're going to have...
See, I want to supplement my TV, my monitor, and my computer.
Have to have a 2-way power meter on your house. The reason for that is if you over generate power, the power company will actually pay you for the extra power you create. So a 2-way meter is important. And lastly, and this is most important, listen up, guys.
Can you get a 2-way meter in Washington? Let's find out.
Guys, you're going to want to make sure you check.
See, good tech, and I want it real bad. And it's older tech now. Yeah, Utah's the only state where it is legal. Europe didn't burn down. They should give these out for free. Could I? Let's go ask the AI. Oh, no, 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 no. No, I was right there. I was hitting the button. No, your credentials have expired. Reconnect to your Xbox now. Okay. Let's go to the AI. I am interested in plug-in solar of late, and I'm wondering if you can tell me. I would like to plug a power strip with my 86-inch monitor, my Alienware Aurora R11 computer, and my Acer 244 hertz monitor. And I just want to run the plug-in solar to just running just those three devices. Is that possible to stay off the grid of my house and just run a power strip that runs those three devices off solar? Okay, to run your setup entirely off grid and isolated from your house, you need a middleman to manage the power. Solar panels produce direct current power that fluctuates with the sun, while your PC monitors require a steady, clean flow of 120V. To achieve this, you need a plug-and-play solar generator portable power station. Which gear actually needs the mat. To run completely off-grid, your solar setup must be able to handle the peak power draw of your equipment and store enough energy to keep things running when clouds roll over or the sun goes down. Here is a realistic estimate of your setup's power consumption under heavy gaming or streaming loads. The baseline needed system to consistently output at least 800 watts of continuous power and a solar array large enough to replenish that massive burn rate in real time. Instead of plugging your power strip into the wall, you will plug your power strip directly into the AC outlets of a portable power station. The power station acts as your private mini grid. You need a unit with a built-in pure sine wave inverter rated for at least 1,000 watts to 2,000 watts to handle the startup spikes of your PC. If your setup pulls 700 watts and you want to play for 4 hours, you need battery capacity of at least 2,800 watt hours. Units like the Anker Solix F2000, EcoFlow Delta 2 Max, or Bluetti AC 2000L or 200L are built exactly for this type of heavy continuous load. The solar panels to run live off the sun without draining your battery during the day. Your solar panels must generate more watts than your PC is actively pulling. Because panels rarely run at 100% efficiency due to angles, atmosphere, and weather, you generally get about 70 to 8% of their rated footprint. To cover a 700 watt gaming drain, you would need at least 800 watts to 1,000 watts of solar panels deployed outside just to break even while playing during peak daylight. The reality check, pros and cons. True isolation, it is 100% isolated from your home's utility bill. If the grid goes down, your gaming streaming station stays completely live. No electrician needed. True plug and play. You just run the solar extension cables through a window or a door to the station, plug your power strip in, and you're done. The challenge is the night problem. If the sun goes down or it's a heavily overcast day, you're entirely dependent on how much battery capacity you bought. Once the battery hits 0%, your setup shuts down unless you manually plug the power strip back into the household wall outlet. Upfront cost, the power station, 800 watts of solar panels capable of sustaining an 80-inch screen and a high-end pre-built gaming rig is a significant investment, often costing between $1,500 and $3,000 depending on how many hours of battery storage you want. If you want to start small, look into a mid-tier 2,000-watt solar generator bundle. It will let you test the waters, isolate your gear. You can always add more panels later if your battery is draining faster than the sun can fill it. So... yeah, and another thing is during the winter here from like what is it? This would be very good in some place like Arizona where it's just sunny all the time. But yeah, in Washington it's only sunny from like May until September, and then the rest of the year is just raining and gray. And so then, do you even pull any power that whole 5 months? And I don't think you really do. What about some kind of wind turbine? Could it do it that way? Because we get wind all year round, but we only get sun like 6 months of the year. Online retailers sell small 400 watt to 800 watt wind turbines for a few $100s, making them look as easy to deploy as a solar panel. In practice, they are much more temperamental for three major reasons. The cubic law of wind. Solar power scales linearly, wind power scales cubically. If the wind speed cuts in half, your power output doesn't cut in half, it drops by 8 times. Most microturbines require a startup speed of around 6 to 9 miles per hour just to start spinning, and they do not hit their advertised maximum wattage until the wind is howling at a sustained 25 to 30 miles per hour. If you have a consistent 10 mile per hour breeze, an 800 watt turbine might only give you a trickle of 40 or 50 watts. Spring and summer, rely entirely on your solar panels, so we use to max out your batteries summer every day. Keep the solar panels connected. They will still grab a few watts on gray days, but rely on a turbine mounted high on a clear pole or a clear ridge on your property to act as a trickle charger. Think of the wind turbine not as something that will actively power your 700 watt scamming rig in real time, but as a slow, steady 24-hour dripping faucet. Even if it only averages 75 watts an hour due to lower wind speeds, over the course of a windy 24-hour winter day and night, it will pour nearly 800 watt hours of energy back into your battery bank while you sleep. That's the future for me. Oh, I am just sitting at an entry. Yeah, and I want you to log in. Sit at this acceleration gate. Yeah, activate gates.
Warp drive active.
It's getting late. Should go to bed. Maybe I'll dock up here because it's Caldari. Faction Warfare is good. It's like real good in this state, in this place. This was Ugalis. Yeah, we'll come back this direction, I guess. Do one more and then I'll stop. Okay, well, so there you are. So I guess I would run the whole house, I guess, and I would put solar panels all the way across the top of this roof, and then one wind turbine for the winter, and I would have them run into, a DC inverter like this that trickle charges your batteries all the time, and I would get a big battery bank that really would keep like months of power in it, and I would build I have an outhouse to the right of the house, but I could just build a power room. I could build like a power room, kind of like Rust. I could just throw like a $500 into a buildable, what do they call that? Or I could just buy a shed. I could go buy a shed for like $1,000, right? Buy a shed for $1,000. Go and fill the shed with all of the batteries and all the DC inverter stuff and all that crap, kind of like a server mill or whatever. And then I will run solar panels across the top of this roof and really anchor them so they can't be blown off or whatever. Put solar panels on the top of the roof of this fifth wheel so that it really does charge the fifth wheel with all the solar panels that's got on top, and it constantly keeps batteries filling. and I'll put a bunch of car batteries or whatever it is out there, like 5 or 10 of them if I need to, and daisy chain them all or whatever it is that works by then. Power will only get better by then. And then that's how I'll get off the power grid, and then that in the well will make it so I never have to worry about water or power. And I could do interesting things with that, I suppose. Like I could take the water and the power, and I could grow, I don't know, what's my favorite food? I guess potato and corn and chickpeas or something, so I can make hummus or whatever. And I could just live off of different kinds of potatoes and corn, like mix corn and potato all the time, and make interesting corn and potato meals and stuff. I just add meat to it from the grocery store. It has this way of reducing food costs, kind of, and I could do like a little mini garden with the food that I could feed my family with or whatever. There's a lot of stuff about that. That is like having your own personal fiefdom at that point. You have land, you have a house, you have endless power, endless water. You could do stuff like grow grapes with it and make wine. I would grow grapes probably, or whatever I could ferment. I don't know, do something to make wine or something. I would make my own wine, or I don't know what I would make. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'd spend my time on that stuff. I'd probably buy that stuff, honestly. But you wouldn't spend any money on anything else except property taxes. So buying some wine is really not that scary of a thing, Oh, that's my feeling about this. I've been thinking about getting off the grid a lot, but not off the grid, just off the power bills. The power bills are fucking murder.
It just doesn't matter, dude.
All this sparked, you can see that he likes renting, but no, you got to buy your place and set it up for permanent living. That's what you actually have to do.
I can't have shit.
Whether he had an actual setup or not, he'd start streaming regardless. He simply wasn't going to let that 1% of viewers ruin it for the other 99.
No.
Over time, he would slowly but surely fill the space. Sometimes it was posters on the wall, or adding a bed, cool lights, or maybe some plants to the stream room. But it seemed like the minute it actually started to feel like a home, like someone actually lived there,
he would get swatted and he'd have to leave.
The cycle restarted.
Okay, well, I guess we'll move again, and we'll start it again, and hopefully, and it's probably gonna blow up again.
Yep.
After a while, you could see it wearing on him. The sleep deprivation, the junk food, the constant anxiety. It all started to pile
the junk
up.
food. You don't
Somewhere in
have to do
blur
that
of
stuff to yourself. You don't have to do that.
Streams and relocations, the pressure began to break through.
XQC is, if you watch his content, renowned for being really, really bad at sleeping.
X has night terrors where he runs through the house screaming.
Felix started having night terrors, real physical ones.
This morning,
Yeah. I've never had night terrors like this, but I've had drug-induced psychosis.
I was bloody. Yeah, I did have a fight actually. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. When he wakes up to that, do you freak out, Adept? It doesn't scare you?
He'd wake up gasping, disoriented, sprinting across the room trying to escape something that wasn't there.
And so, oh my god.
Yeah. I had a friend who was like this. He had night terrors because his parents tortured him when he was a baby. Unfortunately.
I just wake up with no air, and I just run. Dude, there's like holes in the walls because of it. Dude, look, there's one above the bed. Look at that. Literally ran straight into the wall.
Whether he was with Adept or staying with friends, they would have to pull him out of it before he hurt himself. But sometimes he didn't wake up fast enough.
I woke up and I hurt myself in panic. That's all. So I don't really know what happened. But it should be fine for now, though.
And even then, the very next day he was still alive. Because for Felix, stopping meant thinking. And thinking was worse.
In a way, when I go live, I have my own little sun, or my little spotlight above my head, right? Recently, it's been like, spotlight goes off, and it's just darkness.
At one point, after years of this cycle, things got so bad that he started writing a will. He genuinely wasn't sure how much...
Oh yeah, I've been there. Oh yeah. When it gets darkest, you write a will. You're like, oh, we gotta make sure the people that out-survive me get my stuff. Offered it to Cloud Candy. I was like, would you like 2 houses and 5 cars? Get off the water grid, raise your kids in a farmhouse or whatever, and be totally non-reliant on other people. And she was like, yes, but I'm with somebody. Oops. That, oh, do I go narrow? Hit. He's crawling around in the vents. Are we doing this? Yay, we're doing this. Yeah, we're gonna get lots and lots of faction warfare and event credit.
Much longer he'd last if things kept going the same way.
I had a bunch of bad thoughts. Things kept happening that were really bad and scary. I felt like I wasn't gonna live very long.
When he began going through what he had and figuring out where it should all go, it naturally fell to his family. But one name wasn't there, Adep's. And when she found out, everything blew to Kingdom Come. This was the start of something that would turn into one of the most bizarre and public breakups the internet had ever seen.
After that, things just kind of like started like blowing the fuck up, you know?
When Adept found out she wasn't included in Felix's will, the tension between them began to boil over.
Why are you raising your tone?
No, because no,
you're raising your tone.
Really annoying.
You're raising your tone.
Like, I'm tired of hiding my.
You're raising your tone.
When Adept found out she wasn't included in Felix's
my fuck, she's hot. Oh my god, how did you fuck this up, you idiot?
will, the tension between them began to boil over.
Why? Fuck, she's hot.
You're raising your tone.
Because no,
you're raising your tone.
Really annoying.
You're raising your tone. You're raising your tone.
Your tone.
I'm tired of hiding behind this.
Why are you playing Grand Theft Auto 5 while that hottie girl is sitting there arguing with you? Hang up the stream. Go and sit with her. Put your hands in your and put her hands in your hands and talk to her. Do not play Grand Theft Auto 5 GTA RP or whatever this is. Is that what this is? Who knows? It looks like GTA RP. I'm fairly sure it is.
That you do every time.
Okay, can you understand that I always do this? And it's not target.
Oh God, here we go.
What started as a couple's argument slowly grew into something much bigger, one that pulled in Felix's family and refused to fade.
Simi, you called my family psycho, crazy, conniving ass crack. I blamed myself. You talked to me for 3 hours, blaming everybody else.
I do this with you anymore. You are not a victim here. You have never been a victim here. I'm done speaking with you. You are not a victim. Stop victimizing yourself.
I'm sorry. Bye.
Over the next few months, things only got worse. Arguments kept resurfacing, and every attempt to fix things seemed to just make it worse.
They just can't stand each other. It's like an act and they don't want to do it anymore. It happens. Every 7 years or whatever. Oh, you're friendly. Jesus Christ, I thought you were an enemy. Ah! What? Hit the floor, bitch. Where are all the other baddies? Sorry, I fucking EMP fucking shotgun jacked you. I thought you were them. Little paranoid from the weed. Or whatever. Let's go kill the guy. I don't need loot. I've got hundreds of thousands of gil or whatever this shit is. What's up, little bitch? Are you sleeping? Yes, you are. What's the most powerful weapon I've got? Probably that thing, or I don't know. Probably this thing, huh? Yeah, especially if you crouch. If you crouch, that probably just one-shots everything. Yep, sneak attack for double damage on this gun. That will erase any boss in the game, and that's the trick that I should use. Headshot, sniper, while they're tranked out, and I can just kill any boss in the game. Because it's just it's like a sneak headshot to the with the highest damage gun in the game, and that's how I will erase bosses. They're not real to me. See, 1057. I'm fairly sure their bars are like 400 or something. I don't know. Nice for getting this one too. Sweet.
Hey, see, classic. Just like before the stream, you say an argument or say your remark, and you leave, and then you're like, got him, dude. It's not how it works, though.
Eventually, Felix felt like he was cornered, like he had to choose just one. family or Adept.
I was cornered into choosing between family and Sammy, and unfortunately what happened is that I kind of just chose family.
And that decision set off everything that came next.
Why are no other streamers talking about XQC divorce? Like how major it is.
Because
this ain't like some little thing. Like this is major. This is having an impact on
No,
him
it's his divorce.
After a
It has
string of
nothing to
public
do
arguments,
with you.
intense on-stream moments, Adept took things a step further. She filed a claim saying this wasn't just a breakup. According to her, she and Felix were married under common law, which meant she was entitled to half of everything he owned.
No,
Within weeks,
that's not how that works. Yeah, you actually have to declare at some point before you can just take half somebody's money.
the dispute moved from live streams to courtrooms. In Texas, official filings started rolling in, and the court stepped in to stabilize the situation while it played out. Adept was granted exclusive use of Felix's BMW and Tesla. Felix, on the other hand, was suddenly restricted. No more luxury spending, no gambling, nothing beyond the essentials. They were barred from entering each other's homes, and more importantly, forbidden from talking about any of it online. Essentially, a gag order. Once again, Felix was split in two, the version everyone thought they knew, and the one left behind when the camera turned off. But this time, the internet filled the void. Today, those court records are sealed, but back then, they were open to anyone who knew where to look. A few creators dug them up before they vanished behind closed doors, and with each new filing, the internet got another glimpse into the story Felix couldn't tell himself.
Come on, magazine.
Hey, guys.
No.
How's it going?
Oh, no.
This is Stephen Asarch, a journalist who's written for outlets like Business Insider and Rolling Stone. But more importantly, he was one of the first people to break this whole story.
The common law marriage itself always seemed really odd to me. Her only evidence behind the common law marriage was in 2020, they went to Canada and they told the TSA that they were married because that was the only way they were going to get in because of COVID protocols.
A common law marriage basically means you're married without the ceremony or license. There's just 3 requirements. You have to live together, tell people you're married, and both agree that you are. But miss one of those, and it doesn't count.
Felix has never publicly made any sort of statement that the common law marriage was in fact real.
I'm not married! I don't want to bash Adept. I don't want to just say she was grasping at straws.
It is hard to discuss this story without thinking ill of Adept, because if you just look at the court filing...
I don't think ill of Adept. If I was Adept, I'd try to get his money too. After putting up with that man-child for 7 years or whatever, I would probably do it too. I'm sorry. Sorry. Not sorry.
It does.
Maybe you guys have never been around women. I don't know. I can definitely see that. I can see them being like, no, I put up with this loser for 8 years, then he dumped me or whatever. Nah, pay half your money. Izzy. Oh no. Is it? Oh, I thought it was a player. No. Where are you, motherfucker? I don't see you. Oh, there you are.
Does seem fairly malicious.
Her whole document was all about, I need spousal support. Make them pay.
But, you know, taking her opinion into account, it was clear that she felt that she kind of built this guy up and kind of helped him reach the level that he reached.
Speaking of crazy deals, XQC
Yeah, if she was on stream with him at all, he needs to pay. I'm sorry, but it was like a duo at that point. Always be careful of the company you keep. How you do things. Okay, I'm looking for a magazine, but it might be in that locked room, but I really don't know how to... Oh, that's the opening for the doors, is it? Okay, yes it was. Yep, nice. Was that guy enemy? No, I think he was friendly. Ah! Yeah, there's like a whole nother side of this. Oh no, look. Oh, yeah, I was like, where's the big chest is another thing. Oh, cool, I got a soldier out of that. That was worth it. It was worth it. Fucking sweet. I don't want to go to bed. I'm not tired. I think I'll probably stay up. I don't know. I shouldn't be up that late, though. I don't know. Does it matter if I sleep till noon? I don't think it does. Damn, vials are worth a lot. This is like 4,000 gold, or like, I don't know, it's like a lot. Take them all.
Biggest streamers on Twitch just took a deal, a 2-year deal, $100 million with Kick.
Wow. $100 million. He got like double what Ninja did. Jesus Christ. Why did why did Mixer pay him $100 million? Could he possibly be worth that much money? No. Not even I would say 1/10 of that, yeah. Not $100 million. He'd have to poo gold to be worth $100 million.
When it came to XQC, was focused on the Kick deal.
What is going on?
$100 million. This is a non-exclusive contract for 2 years, meaning XQC gets to have his cake, eat it too, and the baker.
It was and still is the biggest streaming deal social media has ever seen. Yet, somehow, it came right when XQC seemed to be at his lowest.
I understand that XQC can kind of feel slighted by all of this. You know, I was watching the Impulsive clip earlier, and clearly, you know, this still kind of bothers him.
Felix, I gotta ask you this. Are you going to give all of your money to your ex-girlfriend?
Oh, man.
Adept, the person who had been in his life for years, was now the person tearing it apart.
The deeper you are invested with somebody, the deeper that you trust them, the harder betrayal will feel when it happens.
What started as a conversation about his will, about money, and what would happen if something went wrong, spiraled into something much bigger. And somewhere along the way, Felix lost someone that felt like home.
I wasn't the best boyfriend at times, but I don't think anybody deserves to feel that level of betrayal ever.
The fallout rolled straight into his family. Words were said, lines were crossed, and even months later, things still hadn't really healed. So he did what he always does when everything falls apart. He streamed, because chat was the only thing that still felt familiar.
At the end of the day, all I want to do is go back to this. I don't want to spend time.
I will go because the daily wipe is in 15 minutes or 20 minutes, I think. I don't know. When's the wipe? Yeah, I think that's like 3 a.m. PST. Yes, or is it 4? It might be 4. Oh, my little kitty, I love her. Gotta get drones out. Getting some successful faction warfare. Oh yeah, we're gonna do some successful faction warfare. Maybe I'll just move to low sec. I don't need this high sec corp if fucking stupid ass safety isn't gonna let me sit there. I'll come back to ice mining, but just in a couple weeks in a skiff. Couple skiffs.
Enjoying the thing that this comes with, right? The status, or whatever. All that shit is like, it's just f***ing noise. It actually is. It's noise.
Sometimes he'd go live and talk in circles, half-coded rants about things that he couldn't say. You could tell he wanted to open up, he just couldn't. And the longer that went on, the lonelier it looked.
Money just changes people, man. And people say it's changed me. You wanna know why? You wanna do something about me? Everybody around me, just that's all they cared about. It's just money shit. When everybody around me starts caring about it like so much, right? Then it annoys me. Because then there's me right here, everybody's next to me, and then everybody's looking past me to whatever I have. And it's like, okay, well, how do I get the focus back on me? I'll just burn it then. Like that's kind of like logical conclusion almost. Sometimes it feels like I'd have none of the problems I have right now if it wasn't for that.
Over time, the streams got shorter and less consistent, but the outbursts and the drama grew. It was like watching someone set fire to the parts of their life that still worked.
I didn't change for the longest time, and it felt like that's all people wanted. So yeah, I bought really dumb shit. I wasted money on the stupidest thing I could ever find. I would rather see that money go up in flames on useless than being giving to people.
I don't understand.
That's all they care about.
Is so fucking
After months
shitty.
of filings,
They
restrictions, and silence, it finally ended.
Go and help
The
people.
court dismissed
You
the
don't go
case.
fucking
The claims were
burn it
dropped.
on hotel
No more
rooms
orders,
and
no more
fucking
waiting.
Uber
For the
Eats
first time in nearly a year, Felix could finally
clothes
speak
or
again.
cars. You just don't do
They just
stupid
gave me the
shit
news
like
that
That's
I
what
was
evil people
no
do.
longer in any significant legal battle, and it's all over. After months and months sitting in the dark, I actually had something or somebody tell me and validate that my brain was rooted in reality.
In the end, Felix never really escaped the chaos. He just stopped letting it define him. The cameras are
This music was not a good choice for this fucking subject.
still there. The chat.
You're trying to act like it's some crazy, like Hollywood drama or something. It's not. It's a streamer and a breakup with his girlfriend, and you have this like violins playing in the background, like you're trying to say something profound about their relationship falling apart or whatever. And it's just like, no, you're content farming, and the music is way too dramatic for what actually happened. Oh, sorry, but it is. Like, listen to the music that he's playing. It's like something out of Kronos Quartet from Requiem for a Dream. It's insane, and it's not the fucking subject matter does not warrant this kind of noise.
Cat still moves a mile a minute, but he's not.
You know, I should go give Stalker 2 a try after they made all the changes and everything. They said they were gonna improve that game, but then I just never played it again.
Hiding behind it anymore. When he goes live, it's not to fill the silence. It's because he actually wants to be there. The line between XQC and Felix will probably always exist. But for the first time, it doesn't feel like a mask. It feels more of like a balance. He can log off, disappear for a while, and the world keeps spinning. The stream doesn't have to be his whole life anymore. And maybe that's the real win. Not the contracts, not the numbers, not the record-breaking deals, but finally being okay with just being himself.
So fun and cool, and we have beanbag chairs and a soda machine, and everything is super cool and laid back, and we want you to wear sweats. Run for the goddamn hills, because so many. Without further ado, let's get right into it.
Red Maisel.
In January of 2016, the Grand Junction Sentinel reported on and posted a rather astounding order by an administrative law judge in Montrose, Colorado. The legal issue was whether a Mr. Bill Bailey, a former employee of the Uncompahgre Valley Water Users Association, which maintains the area's irrigation network, had been responsible for his termination. If he was, the association wouldn't have to pay his disability benefits. The association contended that Mr. Bill Bailey was fired for, quote, insubordination, suggesting that he was too sensitive and unable to, quote, forgive and forget certain conduct by his supervisor, Mr. Aaron English. Mr. Bailey's position, however, was that he did not expect to be fired and that it was unfair to fire him for complaining about what Mr. English referred to as pranks, but the ALJ, meaning the administrative law judge here, referred to as, for example, and this is a quote unquote, defecating into coworkers' lunches. Just gonna let us sit with that for a second. That is not even the worst thing that this manager did. And to top it all off, this guy, this employee of this water association in Colorado, started doing these quote unquote pranks, which are, for all intents and purposes, assault, battery, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and disgusting. Concerning some of them amount to terrorism. I'm not even joking. Yeah, he started doing these when he was an employee, and after people complained, he was promoted. So if you think your workplace is hostile, get a load of this one. I'm just gonna read directly from the order, okay? Good golly God. The testimony in the claim revealed that the claimant, Bill Bailey, a 9-year UVWUA employee, was unable to resolve and avoid conflicts with his immediate supervisor, Watermaster Aaron English. Watermaster is crazy, considering all of the other elements and substances he would be a master of during his tenure here. Since we don't have any evidence that this guy was ever fired, we can only assume he's still working there, 9 years later? This story was reported on in January of 2016, but the opinion in the workers' comp case, essentially, that's what it was. Okay, that's why an administrative law judge was the one who issued the opinion. That opinion was handed down in November of 2015. So we can only assume that for 10 more years, this guy's been there doing all of the things I'm about to tell you about. Mr. English, a 16-year employee of UVWUA, testified that he liked a workplace to be fun, and this involved, quote,
There it
messing.
is. I was like, I can't find the magazine. Yes. Use 50% less O2 while moving when over encumbered. That's actually so cool. So if you get like 8 of them or whatever, you eventually can just run while encumbered. Will you let me out? Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Let me out. Here we are out. So will you teleport me to my ship? Yes, you will. Yay, get me out of here. Wanted, destroy the Crimson Fleet Ghost, go to any planet, wanted Crimson Fleet Spectre, the promise broken, fish of business, unity, lost and found, into the void, acquire Terran black boxes. Okay, so defensive measures, talk to kill, trying to protect the city from Ashta, investigate the Perseus. Oh, the cute little kitty. Yeah, we love this little kitty. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Oh, yeah, that's a good little kitty. She's a good little kitty.
Around, horsing around, and cracking jokes with coworkers for at least 10 years. Now, anytime you walk into a workplace that calls anything just fun, just so fun. We just want to be fun and laid back here. We're just like so laid back. We just are so fun and cool. And we have beanbag chairs and a soda machine and everything is super cool and laid back. And we want you to wear sweats. Run for the goddamn hills, because so many times the fun they're referring to is the exact opposite. And oftentimes they just want you to feel as though you are a family. F is for friends who do stuff together. U is for you and me. N is for anywhere at any time at all. Please don't file a lawsuit and sue me. I cannot overstate enough how much of a red flag it is for me personally when a company is just harping too hard on the we have fun aspect, right? With like eyes open, no blinking. We just have so much fun here. It just gets a little much. I understand like an offhand, oh yeah, we have a good time, work hard, play hard, you know, but like not too much. Okay, not too much fun here. Not too much. All right, let's tone it down. And nothing was toned down. Nothing, no toner added. Okay? It was ramped the hell up. Despite the fact that the company's position, the association's position, and Mr. English's position was that everything was just one big joke of horsing around and joshing and, oh, you're just too sensitive and, oh, you just need to forgive and forget, the judge said, oh, well, I don't agree. After considering the totality of the evidence, Judge Turnbow credited the testimony of Mr. Bill Bailey, the claimant, and several witnesses, including Mr. English himself, that he engaged in all of the following: built and set off pipe bombs and acetylene bombs to explode when coworkers started company trucks.
Acetylene? Acetylene? Did you mean acetylene? Like an acetylene torch? I can't get these things on screen for whatever reason. I don't know why. I can't get a beat on these guys. They're just always on my 6. What's the point of the goddamn space battle then, you piece of shit, cocksucker, brain-dead developer? Why would this be in the game? What is the fucking point of this? There's nothing learned. I'm just trying to get him in my sights, and I can't. I'm just gonna go in one direction for a while here. Because you're a sucking dick developer. Pretty big dick in your fucking mouth, you idiot. Come on, man, I can't get this guy, like, actually in my sights. I can't believe they're winning. It's because I literally can't. I'm finding it impossible to get them in front of me. I can't seem to get it. Finding it impossible to catch these guys. This is so annoying. I don't want to do this anymore, just leave. I don't want to do this anymore, just leave. Just leave. Just leave. So annoying. Why? Why, developer? Why? going to put my dish away and get some dessert. I'm sorry, kitty. Gotta wake you up. You ready? You get off of me. Thank you. Good kitty. Oops.
Shot coworkers with BB guns, hid accelerants in areas where workers were using blowtorches, used a potato gun to shoot golf balls and tubes of caulk at coworkers, added accelerants and explosives to warming fires used by coworkers, defecated into coworkers' lunches, and defecated above ditches where coworkers were already working. If I am in a job, if I am clocking in at a location that requires me to dig ditches, which is what these employees were doing, which is absolutely an essential job, essential work. We need people to be doing this. They should be paid a lot, in my opinion. Any type of job that requires you to do some pretty gnarly physical labor, you should be paid a lot, in my opinion. Because, wow, it is taxing and it requires a lot of skill. It genuinely, unironically does. But regardless, digging ditches is notoriously clocked as a monotonous, boring, but very strenuous activity, right? Like nobody thinks, wow, you know what I feel like doing today? Digging a grave, digging a ditch, digging a trench. That is not fun work. So if I am clocking in to do that and I have some bozo the clown above my head pooing and trying to aim for me. Now, I will put an asterisk next to this. He testified, as in the pooer, testified that he tried to aim for people. So that implies that he missed. Okay, God bless, he can't aim when he poops. If it were even anywhere near me and my person, you would need to call the police preliminarily because I'm about to get violent. I'm not condoning violence. No, I am not. But you would have to hold me back. You would. Also, what kills me is he is doing all of this, playing these insanely extreme he's planning bombs. He's building pipe bombs and planning them and exploding them. What doesn't liven up a company picnic like an IED? Excuse me, pardon me. He also is admitting to doing all of this. Like he's building these pipe bombs on company time with company materials. And what essentially the company manager says, the supervisor says is, well, it's not like they're like that big. They're not bombs. That's what he said. He said, well, I mean, like we got some complaints, but like, it's not like they're actual bombs. And the judge was like, what do you consider to be a real bomb? He was like, well, one that's really big. And she goes, okay, well, these bombs could have very well killed or hurt someone and also caused the claimant in this case to become deaf in one ear. Like he's having hearing issues because one of the pipe bombs went off near his head. And then he finally went, oh, okay, yeah, I guess it might be a little bomb. Oops. Like, are you joking? Okay. With all of these circumstances being present, okay, the point being is the fact that this man chose to be planting bombs and putting in accelerants where he knew people were going to be using blowtorches. You are attacking and pranking, quote unquote, people who all have weapons in their hands. Every single one of them literally has a blowtorch, a shovel, a pickaxe. They obviously do a lot of physical labor. They're ripped. Okay, they're ready to they are ready to brawl, baby. The fact that this man didn't get his teeth knocked out is, I think, more shocking than the IED of it all. 10 years he was doing this. Let's keep going. Mr. English, the man of the goddamn hour, testified that he built bombs on company time and with company materials that were set to detonate when his coworkers got into the truck and turned the ignition switch on. Bombs were built from milk jugs full of acetylene with 4-inch PVC pipe using welding gas and tubes of spray foam thrown into a fire. Mr. English testified that he had filled milk jugs with an accelerant and that he would hide them in a ditch so that when coworkers were clearing brush from the ditch banks using blowtorches, the jugs would explode into flame. UVWUA manager Steve Fletcher also testified during the hearing. He said he knew about some of Mr. English's pranks and promoted him.
Oops, what happened there? My keyboard fell. Oh, no.
Is not the place for you to untangle these issues in your religion, right? It's not the place to do it, not the forum. And indeed, the 10th Circuit said, But we can only assume that for 10 more years, this guy's been there doing all of the things I'm about to tell you about. Mr. English, a 16-year employee of UVWUA, testified that he liked a workplace to be fun. And this involved, quote, messing around, horsing around, and cracking jokes with coworkers for
Maybe
at
the boredom
least
is too
10
much to deal
years.
with.
Now, anytime you walk into a workplace that
What happened? Developer.
calls anything just fun, just so fun. We just want to be fun and laid back here. We're just like so laid back. We just are so fun and cool, and we have beanbag chairs and a soda machine, and everything is super cool and laid back, and we want you to wear sweats. Run for the goddamn hills, because so many times the fun they're referring to is the exact opposite, and oftentimes they just want you to feel as though you are a family. F is for friends who do stuff together, U is for you and me, N is for anywhere at any time at all. Please don't file a lawsuit and sue me. I cannot overstate enough how much of a red flag it is for me personally when a company is just harping too hard on the we have fun aspect, right? With like eyes open, no blinking. We just have so much fun here. It just gets a little much. I understand like an offhand, oh yeah, we have a good time, work hard, play hard, you know, da-da-da. But like not too much. Okay, not too much fun here. Not too much. All right, let's tone it down. And nothing was toned down. Nothing, no toner added. Okay? It was ramped the hell up, despite the fact that the company's position, the association's position, and Mr. English's position was that everything was just one big joke of horsing around and joshing and, oh, you're just too sensitive and, oh, you just need to forgive and forget. The judge said, oh, well, I don't agree. After considering the totality of the evidence, Judge Turnbow credited the testimony of Mr. Bill Bailey, the claimant, and several witnesses, including Mr. English himself, that he engaged in all of the following: built and set off pipe bombs and acetylene bombs to explode when coworkers started company trucks, shot coworkers with BB guns, hid accelerants in areas where workers were using blow torches, used a potato gun to shoot golf balls and tubes of caulk at coworkers, added accelerants and explosives to warming fires used by coworkers, defecated into coworkers' lunches, and defecated above ditches where coworkers were already working. If I am in a job, if I am clocking in at a location that requires me to dig ditches, which is what these employees were doing, which is absolutely an essential job, essential work. We need people to be doing this. They should be paid a lot, in my opinion. Any type of job that requires you to do some pretty gnarly physical labor.
Should ditch diggers be shit on by their coworkers? No.
You should be paid a lot, in my opinion, because wow, it is taxing and it requires a lot of skill. It genuinely, unironically does. But regardless, digging ditches is notoriously clocked as a monotonous, boring, but very strenuous activity, right? Like nobody thinks, wow, you know what I feel like doing today? Digging a grave, digging a ditch, digging a trench. That is not fun work. So if I am clocking in to do that, and I have some bozo the clown above my head pooing and trying to aim for me. Now, I will put an asterisk next to this. He testified, as in the pooer, testified that he tried to aim for people. So that implies that he missed. Okay, God bless, he can't aim when he poops. If it were even anywhere near me and my person, you would need to call the police preliminarily because I'm about to get violent. I'm not condoning violence. No, I am not. But you would have to hold me back. You would. Also, what kills me is he is doing all of this playing these insanely extreme he's planning bombs. He's building pipe bombs and planning them and exploding them. What doesn't liven up a company picnic like an IED? Excuse me, pardon me. He also is admitting to doing all of this. Like, he's building these pipe bombs on company time with company materials. And what essentially the company manager says, the supervisor says is, well, it's not like they're like that big. They're not bombs. That's what he said. He said, well, I mean, like, we got some complaints, but like, it's not like they're actual bombs. And the judge was like, what do you consider to be a real bomb? He was like, well, one that's really big. And she goes, okay, well, these bombs could have very well killed or hurt someone and also caused the claimant in this case to become deaf in one ear. Like, he's having hearing issues because one of the pipe bombs went off near his head. And then he finally went, oh, okay, yeah, I guess it might be a little bomb. Oops. Like, are you joking? Okay. With all of these circumstances being present, okay, the point being is the fact that this man chose to be planting bombs and putting in accelerants where he knew people were going to be using blow torches. You are attacking and pranking, quote unquote, people who all have weapons in their hands. Every single one of them literally has a blowtorch, a shovel, a pickaxe. They obviously do a lot of physical labor. They're ripped. Okay, they're ready to they are ready to brawl, baby. The fact that this man didn't get his teeth knocked out is, I think, more shocking than the IED of it all. 10 years he was doing this. Let's keep going. Mr. English, the man of the goddamn hour, testified that he built bombs on company time and with company materials that were set to detonate when his coworkers got into the truck and turned the ignition switch on. Bombs were built from milk jugs full of acetylene with 4-inch PVC pipe using welding gas and tubes of spray foam thrown into a fire. Mr. English testified that he had filled milk jugs with an accelerant and that he would hide them in a ditch so that when coworkers were clearing brush from the ditch banks using blowtorches, the jugs would explode into flame. UVWUA manager Steve Fletcher also testified during the hearing. He said he knew about some of Mr. English's pranks and promoted him anyway. Was he fired? Oh, baby, he was promoted. However, Mr. Fletcher later testified that he was not aware that one of the explosions set off by Mr. English dented a company truck. God forbid company materials get dented. Who cares about the guy who's half deaf? Whoa, whoa, whoa. You said that he scratched the paint off of one of my vehicles? Now this is my last straw. Mr. Fletcher testified that he was aware that Mr. English was creating dangerous situations involving fire in the workplace. He said, what can you do? A lot, my guy, so much. I would love to have been a fly on the wall in these hearings when this judge was asking these questions, because I think my face is too damn loud. I couldn't be her. She's better than me. My head would have spun like The Exorcist, on God, every time one of these bozos had an answer that included, yeah, I knew, who cares? Or, yeah, it was a pipe bomb. Oh, perfect. The claimants, meaning Bill, our former employee now, who is trying to get his disability benefits, which in my opinion he deserves. The claimant's employment was terminated. Oh, it gets worse. And he received a letter from Mr. Fletcher through his attorney stating that he was fired for insubordination. Fletcher stated that the lack of claimant's communication with Mr. English was a fireable offense. Okay, let's pause it there. What the judge does here, it makes it extremely obvious exactly what her face was doing this entire evidence gathering situation, workers' comp, situation. You can tell exactly how little she respected everyone involved except for the claimant, because they tell her right straight to her face, yeah, he was insubordinate. That's why we fired him. It was his fault. He was insubordinate. That's a fireable offense. And so she very obviously goes immediately into a line of questioning where she says, oh, fireable offense. Is it? What is a fireable offense? If not blowing up shit at work and setting fires and rigging an ignition switch of a company truck for the truck to explode when someone turn the ignition, turn the key. Those aren't fireable offenses. Is that what you're saying? But maybe a little bit of a bad communication moment is a fireable offense. Is that your stance? And she basically forced the company to say, oh, and she said, yeah, perfect. Just get this. Determining what may or may not be a fireable offense Mr. Fletcher testified, quote, that setting off explosives close to employees could be a fireable offense, but that it depended on the severity of the explosion. I am in tears. How bad the bomb explosion was? Is there a range? Is there a spectrum, 1 through 10? Oh, that was a 2 explosion. You're good. You're promoted even. Anything, 8 and above is when we start maybe calling you in and saying, look, we need to rework some things, right? You're going to be on probation. Oh my God. He testified that setting fires on purpose was not a fireable offense, just digging his own grave, right? Just throw him in one of those ditches, honestly. When asked whether putting one's feces in a coworker's lunch was a fireable offense, Mr. Fletcher testified that, quote, there are always pranks, and I have seen that happen before in different places. He testified that defecating towards another employee in the field is not a fireable offense, but could be, quote, if it continued. It did continue for 10 years. I'm sorry, I've seen it happen elsewhere. What frats are y'all a part of? Ugh. During the 3-hour hearing, the story unfolds that other employees had also complained about the antics of Mr. English, but their complaints were not put in writing. It is also evident that UVWUA board president George Etchart and assistant manager Sue Pace not only knew about the situation, but had direct communication with the claimant on the issues and failed to take action. Beyond telling the claimant, he needed to communicate with Mr. English, his supervisor, now at this point. It should be noted that board member Zach Alberg encouraged the claimant to send a written complaint to the board because the board needed to know what was going on. But again, that's not even the bare minimum. That's below. That is so below what needs to happen here. Oh my God. You need to be filing charges against this person. To make matters worse or better, I don't know, however you want to look at it, because not bearing the lead here, our claimant did indeed win and get his disability benefits that he was entitled to. God bless. Okay. And then also he doesn't have to work there. Okay. After getting his benefits, like, boop, I'm out. I'm gone. Bye. See you later. Okay. But to make matters worse, Mr. English, okay, Aaron English in this case, he was yapping like you would not believe on the stand, going into very, very specific detail about his pipe bombs and his potato guns and the PVC pipes and how he would shoot golf balls out of those pipes and with his potato guns and other items out of it at work. He's like, oh yeah, I did all this at work. I was bidding them at work, all of that. To the point where the judge, because this is an administrative law hearing, okay, it's a civil proceeding. It's not a criminal proceeding. This is not a trial, like a criminal trial, right? He was talking so much that the administrative law judge had to stop him and advise him of his Fifth Amendment rights to not incriminate himself on the stand, his right to remain silent, okay, read my sweatshirt, oh my God, in the middle of it, just to say, hey, just a quick reminder, you can shut the fuck up whenever you'd like because this is absolutely incriminating, oh my God. Obviously she didn't say that, but yeah, she reminded him of those. And he was like, oh yeah, I know. And then just kept going. Oh my God. Because yes, this can be used against you in a court of law. Like, yes, it can be. Okay. There were certain things that they would argue about, this, that, the other thing. Oh, I did shoot people with a BB gun, but I don't remember shooting Mr. Bailey with a BB gun. And then Mr. Bailey got on the stand. He was like, he fucking shot me with a BB gun. And the judge was like, I believe you and not him. Absolutely. That's right. Ultimately, you're probably wondering, well, what was the instance when Mr. Bailey was actually fired? Well, he did finally, okay, face-to-face to Aaron English at least, stick up for himself. Because again, at this point, Aaron English is his superior in this company. Mr. Bailey has complained to people in the company, other people have complained, and nothing has happened. So Bailey said that being in this workplace and essentially the pranks being ramped up by Mr. English against him caused him a lot of anxiety and stress, and he had to go to professional counseling, which I would need all of that and more, but only after cussing this guy out 10 times over, right? No job is worth this in my mind. He did stick up for himself on one occasion, however, such as once when they were discussing how to get a promotion around here, and Bailey asked Aaron English whether, quote, blowing shit up might help. English got very angry and reported such comments as, quote, insubordination, and then that's why he was eventually terminated. Mr. Bailey was, okay? Because he mouthed off at him, and honestly, but fair question, why don't I just blow shit up? That'll get me promoted. It got you promoted, King. So the ending of this case is that he was able to get his benefits. The company lost. I think, as far as I know, Aaron English is still employed with that company. All of this is alleged. okay, in these documents, but people were testifying under oath. So do with that what you will, okay? Perfect. Let's move on. Again, Rebs Roundup, it's gonna be fast around here. It isn't even that fast, but it's fast enough. Fast for us, okay? Fast for us. This is an 8th Circuit opinion filed December 3rd, 2025, and this is the summary. Drug dealers evade Colorado highway cop by hightailing it onto an Indian reservation, but they are out of gas, so they carjack and kidnap a motorist who stopped to help.